This week on Arcade Couch, we're getting a Baldur's Gate 3 series from HBO. Nintendo held their first partner showcase for 2026, and I've been playing some Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. Welcome to Arcade Couch, the best place to chill with your friends and get your gaming goodness every Monday. My name's Dylan Blunt. Joining me on the couch this week, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here, but disappointed our resident Overwatch addict isn't here to explain all this Overwatch news to us.
Yes, I did have Overwatch news in and on the cards, which was just deleted because Kieran is stuck at work and cannot join us. So if you're looking for Overwatch hot takes, me and Ash were just discussing before recording, neither of us really understand what any of that news means. The only joke and part that I got was Devolver. Did you see Devolver's tweet?
No.
So after the news, Devolver Digital tweeted out, it was something like, today we're announcing that Hotline Miami 2 is officially now just called Hotline Miami, and Hotline Miami 3 will be called Hotline Miami 1. Something like that. Good on them, you know?
Yeah. The original was Hotline Miami 0. Yeah.
Yeah. So good stuff from them, you know? And then the other note, I just want to apologize before we get into the main topic, which is the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase, which just found out prior to recording that the article up on the website, if you had clicked on that, all the videos were set to autoplay. My bad. I don't know how I did it or why I did it.
Impressive feat.
But it happened. Yeah. Sorry. With that said, let's go over that. So, the first Nintendo showcase of any sort, I was nearly going to say the first showcase, but Xbox had that one before we were back in the podcast studio, which we went over last week. But the first Nintendo thing for this year, 2026, was a partner showcase, which of course focuses on third-party development partners, third-party games coming to their platform and stuff. Overall, general consensus from the internet, I saw a lot of disappointment about this one. I think it was fine. It's just a lot of, hey, this is coming to Nintendo. Hey, this is coming to Nintendo. Hey, this is coming to Nintendo, and like especially some big games. So it's good for Nintendo-only players, this partner showcase, but seems to have left people who were looking for more third-party exclusive news, including potential FromSoft games, a bit disappointed. What do you think of it?
It was, my expectations were met. I think, it was just an extended ad reel, I guess, which isn't necessarily bad.
I mean, isn't that all showcases really?
Exactly. So I don't think you can be upset about it, really. I'm sure people would have liked some more surprises or like big titles coming to the Switch, but what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? That's right. Let's run through it. Yeah, let's run through it though. So Orbitals was the first game. This was shown in one of the showcases late last year. It's a co-op, very anime art style, puzzle co-op adventure thing. It looks pretty cool.
What if Hazelight did an anime?
Yeah, I think that's a good pitch for it. So keen to probably check that one out, but I don't think it was much different than what I saw. It's still coming later in 2026. Then we got Paranormasight. Yep, Paranormasight: The Mermaid's Curse. Is a visual novel game. It's a follow-up to the first game, Paranormasight: The Seven Mysteries of Honjo, which released in 2023. This one will be coming out February 19th. Captain Tsubasa 2 World Fighters, which is a football anime game with power-ups, was my takeaway, and it comes out 2026 at some point.
Not a fighting game.
Sorry, yeah. Football.
No, it's called World Fighters, but they're not fighting.
Oh, right. I thought you were saying I said fighter by accident, but no. Yeah. Football, soccer, whatever we want to go for it. I don't know. Is that based on anime, or is it just? Does it ring any bells?
It's an anime property.
Right. Okay, that makes more sense then, doesn't it? Yeah. Then we got Tokyo Scramble. So I don't know. You're stuck in some underground area. There's things that apparently aren't dinosaurs, but they're definitely dinosaurs, and they're calling them Xenos. and it's a survival horror game of sorts. It looks like it comes out February 11th. Lots of running and hiding, not fighting them.
Take the most fun part of stealth games and make it the entire thing.
Yep.
But at least you can grab some of these Xynos with some heavy machinery.
Mm-hmm. It didn't look good.
Wait, did you see the best part?
No, what's the
4-player co-op.
Really? Did I zone that out?
One person controls the camera, one person controls the movement, one person controls.
It's a fucking nightmare. What are we doing?
Split the controller up amongst 4 people, and apparently that's 4-player co-op. You didn't see that part of the trailer?
No, maybe I didn't. I just wasn't paying. Maybe I was too busy over writing Tokyo Scramble on my other screen or some shit.
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah,
that's
dumb.
Actual gameplay.
Yeah, that's dumb. I don't like that. Dumb idea. Valheim is coming to Nintendo Switch. This, of course, is already out on PC. I can't remember if it's on PlayStation, Xbox. I assume. I don't know.
Probably.
Viking survival game. Play with 10 players online. Hollow Knight's getting a Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Hollow Knight's also getting this same upgrade came to Xbox and PlayStation as well, but it's a enhanced version to the original Hollow Knight game, enhanced visuals and improved frame rates. If you already own the game, you get a free upgrade as well. You don't have to purchase this one again. So if you jumped on the Hollow Knight 2 bandwagon and want to go back and play the first one, there you go. It's better now. eFootball Kickoff. So this is a football soccer game, but like a serious one compared to the anime one we had at the start. Good job, everyone. Comes out 2026. The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales, got a new trailer. This comes out June 18th on Nintendo Switch 2. Nintendo Switch 2. Because I'm keen for this one. They announced this back when they the same showcase last year alongside Octopath Traveler 0, which came out late last year. It looks cool. It's like instead of a RPG or like a turn-based. It's an action RPG with the similar sort of, I don't know, what do we call this art style? Pixel art style. There we go. Thank you. It looks very cool, I think. This was probably more up your alley, surely.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I think it's interesting. Like they're setting up like these multiple times periods that you're going to, I assume, travel between. Like how in depth is that going to be? Is like you do one thing in one time period, it affects another time period.
Something else. Yeah.
Or is it just I'm here and I have no effect on the world?
I hope it has an effect on the world. Because I remember that the core setup for the game from the trailer last year was it's like you're the first person to travel outside of the base area of the town or whatever. No one's ever doesn't travel outside of it. So so that's cool. That's good to look forward to and enjoy. And I think there's only a few. This might have been the only one. There might be something else, I can't remember. But this is one of maybe 1 or 2 games in this direct it is like an exclusive like third-party game that's coming new 2026 Switch.
Then
we got
coming to everything. Is on Wikipedia.
Oh, okay. My bad. Anyway, it's a new game.
It's a new game that's coming.
It's a new game.
It's
a new exciting game. We then got
new.
Talking about not new. Superman Bomberman Collection Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Massive collection of Bomberman games. Includes some previously unreleased games outside Japan. Out now. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is coming to Nintendo Switch 2 on June 3rd. So this is the first of many big AAA games that are making their way to Nintendo Switch as part of the showcase. Pragmata got a new trailer. It's now coming to Nintendo Switch 2, as well as everything else, of course. April 24th, there is a demo out now as well. This was a game that was originally revealed as far back as the original PlayStation 5 event.
Yes. So it coming to Nintendo Switch 2. Kind of impressive. Also, I feel like this is the first trailer that I was like, oh, that's what the story of this game is.
Yeah.
I've just zoned out on every other trailer.
There was one trailer that they released before this, but I don't think it was in a showcase. I just watched it like from a press release late last year. That one gave a better idea of the story. But yeah, I think this is the first trailer that you would have watched in a showcase that gives you a better idea of what the game actually is. Because every other trailer has just been some
cool
weird
visuals,
Kojima-inspired
His little
visual
girl
thing. Yeah. But yeah, you're on a space station. There's a little girl. You're a space dude. She has powers.
Mm-hmm.
Save the day. I think it's a quick setup.
Yep.
We then got Turok Origins. It's dinosaurs. Nintendo Switch 2. Coming later this year. I don't know. Everyone used to get so excited about a Turok game, but every time they put out one, like a remake or a re-release or something new like this, everyone just goes, nah, that's not what we want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looks all right. I mean,
Turok is a singular character, right? That's the name of a character, yet it seems to be these are just warriors of the same Turok.
I have no fucking clue.
I have no idea about Turok. Turok was not something I played.
No, it's not something I played.
Surprisingly.
But it is something that I just know people always...
They hunt dinosaurs.
Yeah, dinosaurs. There you go. See? I mean, I'm saying this looks fine. Now it's like a co-op thing, which maybe is... But I think it's single player or co-op, so... But I don't know, whatever. Third person or first person, so... Yeah. Kyoto Xanadu? Zandoa?
Kyoto Xanadu.
Xanadu, thank you.
Oh, no,
this is Xanadu? All right, I'll go back.
I don't know if they said it.
I don't know either.
In my mind, it was Xanadu, and I really hoped Olivia Newton-John would get
credit?
Yeah, some sort of
a song in it?
Appreciation.
Yeah. I don't think that's happening though. It's a RPG. I don't know. It's life sim stuff. Then you have dungeons or some shit they're exploring, and they're side scrolling, and then you enter battles, and they're in like arenas, like RPG combat.
They were like
third person.
We want to do all these different perspectives, but we only want to make one game.
And
so they did. They put it in.
In comes Xanadu.
I mean, hard to not go. Oh, it's Persona like because of the social elements and the
social stuff.
Combat.
Yeah. I mean, the rest of it doesn't look like Persona. So
no, but the setup, I could see it easily being compared to Persona in all the reviews that come out.
Yeah. Then we got Digimon Storytime Stranger releasing July 10th for Nintendo Switch, and also there will be a Nintendo Switch 2 edition with enhanced stuff, of course, and it'll presumably play 10 times better, like every other game that has Nintendo Switch 2 edition. I think this looks, every time they show this, it looks pretty good to me.
Pretty highly reviewed.
Yeah. I wish I had more time to play these Digimon games because I'm always like years behind on them. I played like that a couple of years ago when I played was it Digimon Cyber Sleuth, I think. I think I played that one, and I put like nearly 80 hours or some shit into to it. Like I just went hardcore onto that for some reason. Like, man, these Digimon games are good, hey. And then every time they announce a new one, I'm like, yeah, that looks great. I should play that. Nah, never get around to it. Maybe this one. I don't know. Then we got Nintendo Switch helps. It's portable, obviously. That especially for RPG. So then we got Grand Blue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok. What a title. New anime fighting game out this year, comes out July 9th for Nintendo Switch 2. Then we got Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection got a new trailer, comes out March 13th for Nintendo Switch 2. There's a demo also out now for people to check out, which I may want to. I downloaded it, whether or not I get to it, because it is one of those demos where the progress transfers over to the full game. Of course, the Monster Hunter Story series is a more heavily story-based entry into the Monster Hunter franchise. Then we got Console Archives and Arcade Archives 2. So Rave Racer, not Ridge Racer, Rave Racer is being added to Arcade Archives 2 on February 26th. And then Console Archives is a new collection that will include games such as Doraemon and Sonic Wings Spiral specials, and more titles being added, including Cool Borders. This one comes out on February 26th. Then we had a montage, which included Scott Pilgrim EX being released March 3rd, another Eden Begins Nintendo Switch 2 edition late 2026, Reanimal, coming out February 13th. Of course, it's coming to Nintendo Switch 2 as well. WWE 2K26 being released March 13th, Nintendo Switch. Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown comes out February 18th across all platforms. Disney Dreamlight Valley Nintendo Switch 2 editions coming out March 25th. PGA Tour 2K25 comes out. What's out now? It's February 6th. Cudacept Begins Nintendo Switch 2 edition comes out July 16th. Goat Simulator 3 will release on April 1st, which is very funny. Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun comes out March 18th for Nintendo Switch 2. And then Tales of the Rise Beyond the Dawn edition will be released May 22nd for Nintendo Switch 2. Then we got into here's a bunch of shit you can look forward to playing on Nintendo Switch that you usually wouldn't have on Nintendo Switch, including we got a new trailer for Resident Evil Requiem, which we already, of course, knew was coming to Nintendo Switch 2. However, it is getting a lot of push/tie-in to Nintendo with this release, which is both interesting but not really, because Nintendo does have a history with Resident Evil. Of course, Resident Evil 4 was a GameCube game, but and as much as Resident Evil Requiem is releasing on everything, the Nintendo Switch is getting a Nintendo Switch 2 is getting a Pro controller for it. It's also getting 2 amiibo figures, one for Grace and one for Leon in the game. Of course, all this comes out February 27th when the game releases. So, what do you think about Nintendo's? I guess it's like a big like marketing tie-in for Requiem. Like they're trying to make it a big
like tie the two together, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like again, trying to showcase the power of the Nintendo Switch 2 in comparison to the other consoles, I guess. Say we can compete gen-wise, I guess, with the other two. You can anything you can play there, you could potentially play here. So no reason not to.
I can do better. Yeah, it looks fine. I mean, the thing is, it doesn't look as good
as long as you don't care about looks. You know, if you're not superficial like that, the Nintendo Switch 2 is for you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's an element of like you can play it on the go. Yeah. You can play it on the Steam Deck on the go. I guess technically not the only place. But yeah, it's good for Nintendo only players, I think. Yes. But there's no way I'm playing it. No offense, as much as I love my Switch, there's no way I'm playing Resident Evil Requiem on my Nintendo Switch.
You're going to play it in Nintendo Switch 2 under the covers at night?
No, that's how you want to play it, right?
No, I want to play it with all the lights.
Actually, yeah, good point. Yeah, I want to play it at 1 p.m. in the afternoon in the middle of a busy park under the sunlight.
With several guards around me, yes.
Yeah. Then we got a bunch of Bethesda news. So they announced, I'll just time all into one. Fallout 4 Anniversary is coming out February 24th for Nintendo Switch 2. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is coming out May 12th for Nintendo Switch 2. And Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered is coming out some point in 2026. Again, good for Nintendo-only players, especially Nintendo-only players who have never had a chance to play any of these games because all they do is buy Nintendo consoles. But otherwise, if Nintendo's your one of many consoles, of course you've played all these games at this point. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, again, just building up this catalog of titles that Nintendo Switch OG players couldn't play, and now Nintendo Switch 2. If you only got a Nintendo Switch, these are titles you never got to play. You know what's interesting? I think they didn't have you still can't play Elder Scrolls Online on Nintendo Switch 2. I'm surprised that wasn't one of the announced titles.
Wonder if that's
one of the best game deals in game.
No, I think that's Final Fantasy Online, but they don't get that slogan as well, do they? I don't think you can have two MMOs.
You're right. Scrap that from the record.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a solid deal.
I'm sure it's a solid deal, but that's not the actual game that gets that slogan. So, So you went at PAX last year where they had that fucking slapped.
I knew it was one of the two. So, I mean,
I was literally walking through the main entryway at Melbourne Convention Hall last year, and they had Final Fantasy Online's getting the big 3. I think I spotted posters that said like some variation of play up to level 60 for free. And I was like walking past saying to Kieran, like, look, the greatest deal in gaming. So PAX AUS is returning for 2026. Of course, it's coming back to the Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre. Will take place on October 9th to 11th, which sort of has become its first weekend sort of slot over the last few
End of the first
years
4
after.
week.
And compared to there was that period there a few years back where it was more towards the end, but now they stick to that 1st of October look. And as far as theme for this year, they released a video day prior to announcing the dates that showed a bunch of balloons floating into the sky, or someone holding them and they're floating in the sky. And then the logo for this year is like a castle with a bunch of flags and stuff coming out of it. So festivals,
this year's PAX is actually Ren Fair.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that could be what we're looking at. So,
or it's going to be a giant jumping castle.
That'd be cool. That'd be pretty cool to have. I wouldn't argue against it. Yeah,
let us know
if you're listening. Yeah, we'll set it up. I'll get there early and turn on the
whatever the air thing is.
If you pay for my flights, I'll fucking do it by foot. Give me like 6 hours of thumping. So, you coming this year or what?
Hopefully.
Get your shit together. What are we doing? You know, just all I'm going to say is if you start feeling sick around, I don't know, even August, July,
get seen straight away.
Just go to the doctor then, and don't wait till the week before PAX. You know, that's just going to be my.
But yes,
yeah. Okay. Still, I'm just never going to forget the months in the lead up where I was like, I'm just stiffly, all right, a lot.
Listen, it was completely unrelated. Just
yeah, I don't think so. All right, let's go over some other news stories. So, big one this week was that Guerrilla has officially announced its long-rumored co-op game set in the Horizon universe. It's called Horizon Hunters Gathering. It's centered around replayable hunts. You'll be able to upgrade and stuff, presumably. The game gives a lot of Monster Hunter-inspired vibes and stuff, more of a anime inspired look to the overall art design. The gameplay shown in the trailer definitely looks a lot more bright than the oftentimes sort of moody and serious aspect of the core games. 2 game modes were revealed as part of the announcement. So you'll have Machine Incursion, where waves of machines will pour out from underground gateways, ending with a big boss fight, and Cauldron Descent, which is a longer multi-stage hunt that sounds a bit more like a raid in an MMO to me. You will not be creating your own character in the game. However, there will be a bunch of different hunters for players to choose from, which they will use different weapons. So some will use ranged weapons, others will be up-close melee fighters, and there will be apparently a roguelite perk system, whatever that means, that will enable you to change up how these characters play within your team. And there will also be a social hub, which you'll be able to visit between missions, called the Hunters Gathering, where you can mess around with other players and prepare for your next mission. There will be a closed playtest coming at the end of February, and you can sign up to the PlayStation beta program now if you would like to get the chance, not guaranteed, get the chance to play that. What did you think of our first look at Horizon Hunters Gathering?
Dylan, it's kind of weird that they announced the knockoff version first and then announced the proper version later.
Well,
so we got the Steel Frontiers title that's coming to mobile later this year. End of last year, I think they announced it. This is obviously this is the one that we've been waiting for and speculating that we're working on. I think it looks fine. It could potentially be a lot of fun. I think people are kind of being very harsh on this title.
I've not read. I haven't looked at the comment section or anything like that. What's the general consensus?
General consensus is it's all Fortnite looking, and
okay,
another multiplayer game,
cell shaded thing.
You know, another multiplayer game. Nobody wants those
until they love them. Then
until they're the biggest played concurrent games in the world. You know, so I mean, and a lot of Concord mentions and that kind of stuff, of course, as you would expect from any multiplayer game released by Sony in the next PlayStation in the next 10 years. Yeah, I mean, does it look like it's going to be game changing in any sort of way to the industry? Probably not. going to be hitting a lot of familiar beats throughout the titles set in a Horizon world. But I think that's fine. I think people are worried that it's going to slow down the release of Horizon 3 because I think Horizon is a relatively big team. Guerrilla has a rather big team at this point, and it probably made this while pre-production was starting for the third game. So
from what I was reading, or I could be wrong, but reading between the lines of the PlayStation blog post, it sounds like they started pre-production on this around the time they were wrapping up Forbidden West. So
this is like a in-between project between the big main titles. In my mind at least, and it looks the way we kind of expected this title was going to end up looking. A little bit simplified, not as many pixels you have to deal with, and I'm sure it's an easier game to code from an artistic standpoint. Everything is more simplified. You're not looking at fucking Aloy's paws and the slight
strands of hair,
slight strands of hair on her face. You don't want that on every single character in this.
Yeah. I think that I think it looks good. I mean, it's a game that lives and dies in how it plays, but I mean, it's Guerrilla, so I don't know what. It's not like, unlike a lot of other things, you've got a studio precedence of quality games to feel safe knowing it'll probably play well. I mean, I think the other thing, if you want to compare it to Concord and all that sort of stuff people are bringing up, I would say, but this game's going to have an audience out the gate because it's already got a massive. The Horizon already has a massive fan base of players that from the IP will want to dive into it. That alone, so and given that Guerrilla's like pretty much Sony's biggest studio at the moment, the biggest. It used to be Naughty Dog, but I mean, I just think that Guerrilla puts out more, and I mean, actually, I'd say Guerrilla's probably second. To be honest, I think Insomniac's probably the most reliable, consistent put out of games for them. So, but I mean, Guerrilla's obviously there, and Guerrilla is the studio of which their current president came from.
Yeah,
so
he's probably got a special spot in his heart and that kind of stuff.
Probably has a special part of his heart that will want to make sure it succeeds.
Yeah.
Compared to some of a random game, whether or not he should be biased or unbiased. But and then I think the other thing, still Frontiers, which again, we talked about, I think I didn't love the art style for that.
Yeah.
Very anime, very big boob characters and all sorts of stuff happening in that. I think it's very obvious, although that said it was coming to PlayStation, that's a mobile game. That's a Asia market mobile game.
It's not coming to PlayStation.
Oh, was it PC? Maybe
it was PC.
It was coming
mobile.
Okay, yeah. So PC and mobile. Then I just remember it was something else as well as mobile. But that's 110% a game where the target audience is Asia mobile.
Yeah.
And if anyone plays it in the West and wants to check it out on PC, you'll have a very small percentage of the player base doing that. But I think for the West, it's this is the co-op Horizon spin-off that people will be playing. So.
Yeah.
I signed up to the PlayStation beta thing, which I'd never signed up for before because I didn't really care to test out beta features or anything. But
to
see if I'm sure it's just a lucky dip, and I'm sure it'll have some. You won't be able to talk about it anyway, I assume, even if you do
some sort of NDA,
NDA or something.
Someone else will break.
Someone else will 100% break, and then I can just read their article. And then get around it that way.
Yep.
All right, continue on in the world of PlayStation. So Eurogamer writes, despite previously insisting there was no way HBO's The Last of Us show could be wrapped up in 3 seasons, it looks like it'll be wrapped up in 3 seasons. Asked to confirm if The Last of Us upcoming season was the final interview of Deadline CEO and chairperson of HBO, Casey Bloy, said, it certainly seems that way, but on decisions like that, we will defer to showrunners, so you can ask them. Previously, the aforementioned showrunner Craig Mazin had claimed that the team was working on a 4-season plan, insisting there was no way the narrative could be wrapped up in 3 seasons. That wasn't even the first time the magic number 4 has been floated in regard to The Last of Us TV's adaptation either. Mazin started Older Shadow all the way back in 2023, suggesting the show could end up being 3 or 5 seasons, but 4 seems like a good number. Some seasons, because of the story we're telling, will need fewer episodes and some will need more. Mazin discussed a 4-season arc last May, and Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann stepped away from the TV adaptation's 3rd season last September, stating he'd accomplished his crazy goal of elevating video games. Mazin has yet to publicly respond to Blow's comment. We'll be talking about Mazin again in a little bit. However, I think we were both mid on The Last of Us Season 2, I'd say.
Yeah.
Not as high on it as the first season. That said, it is wild to me that they think they can wrap, especially the way Season 2 played out, it is wild to me that they think they can wrap up the 3rd season, unless it's 20 episodes. What do you think?
I think it's possible. Assuming they go, well, this last season, I believe, was like 8 episodes. You probably have to stretch it out to maybe 10. With the first half of the season, you would complete Abby's story, I guess. And then the second half would be Ellie focused on the back half of the game, I guess. You know,
I'll say, all right, let me rephrase it. You're correct. They could do it. I think it'll be rushed and terrible if that's the way it goes.
So in pacing with the
in pacing with Season 2.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel about that. And if this is confirmed, because this is come off the of course not 100% confirmed here, but if this is confirmed at 3rd season, I'm not going into the 3rd season with a lot of hope,
optimism.
Yeah.
Well, I think they've got a reasonable amount of time to tell what's left of the story.
There are just so many elements, especially after the first season, and really enjoying the first season, that I kept picturing how they'd probably take 4 or 5 seasons, and just giving episodes like, in my mind, the farms and whole episode.
Yeah.
Like there's and now it'll be 10 minutes.
No, I think it could still be a whole episode. And I don't think you need to spend that much time post the farm.
Yeah. But then I also thought I can't remember the city, Santa Barbara?
Yep.
But then I always thought that would be several episodes.
Doesn't need to be.
And yet I want it to be. You know? I sort of, yeah, no. I was really looking forward to
a more in-depth look at these characters.
Yeah. I was really looking forward to a whole season of Abby, even.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. In my mind, 10-episode season, you have 6 episodes of the Abby storyline. 7th would be the confrontation. 8 would be the farm. Final 2 episodes is Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara. It's possible. It's possible it could work.
Yeah.
I think especially after season 2, I'm just very trepidatious of.
Or last episode is the farm. Santa Barbara is a separate movie.
I mean, weirder things have happened, right?
Yeah, that's what you do with Pedro Pascal TV shows.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. It's a good point. Good point. Is it? Do we even call it a Pedro Pascal TV show?
Is it Mandalorian?
Not my mind.
He's barely in the suit.
He's barely in the suit. What are you talking about? Yep. All right. Continuing on the Craig Mazin train. So HBO has revealed, following the recent success of The Last of Us, they're moving forward with more video game adaptations, with Craig Mazin picking up the show running gig with a series based on Baldur's Gate 3. According to Deadline, the series won't be a straight adaptation of the video game set. It will pick up where Baldur's Gate 3 left off and continue the story with both new and returning characters. Mazin said, after putting nearly 1,000 hours into the incredible world of Baldur Gate 3, it is a dream come true to be able to continue the story that Larian and Wizard of the Coast created. I'm a devoted fan of D&D and the brilliant way that Sven Vinky and his gifted team adapted it. I can't wait to help bring Baldur's Gate and all of its incredible characters to life with as much respect and love as we can, and I'm deeply grateful to Gabe Marano and his team at Hasbro for entrusting me with this incredibly important property. However, unlike both the Last of Us series, which had involved Camille Druckmann, which we'll talk about, as well as Todd Howard being involved with Bethesda and the Prime Video Fallout series, the Baldur's Gate series for HBO won't have any involvement from Larian Studios, the studio behind Baldur's Gate 3. Michael Dowse, the director of publishing Larian Studios, has been having an interesting, somewhat humorous reaction to news about the show. As of other Larian employees I've seen online, the mix of confusion, shock, the shocked announcement, and slight annoyance is palpable. However, Sven Vinky, the CEO of Larian, has given a more PR-friendly response to the news, saying the endings of Baldur's Gate 3 were created so they could serve as narrative soil for new adventures. There's plenty of directions they could go. I'm eager to find out which ones Craig and his team will pick. He's reached out to chat, so we'll have the opportunity to tell him our thoughts. What do you think of, I guess, break it down into two sides, the announcement that we're getting a Baldur's Gate TV series in the Baldur's Gate 3 universe, to be specific, Craig Mazin doing it, but also the fact that Larian knew nothing of it and aren't involved.
Well, I'm keen based on Craig Mazin being involved and the Baldur's Gate 3 being a very good game. Obviously, Larian does not own the property. Mm-hmm. It's owned by Hasbro, I think.
Hasbro. Yeah, that's why Craig
Wizards of the Coast. So really, I mean, they don't really have much of a leg to stand on, other than it would have been the polite thing to do, I guess, to inform them of the plans and that kind of thing. Because I'm sure when they made Baldur's Gate 3, they didn't go back and ask the people on Baldur's Gate 2 what their plans or intentions were for the series or anything like that, you know?
I mean, can't say for sure, I guess.
Can't say for sure. But yeah, I mean...
Well, I guess it's also the fact that they're specifically naming Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, 3.
Whether that's pure... Well, yeah. I mean, that's to capitalize on the popularity on it more than anything else. Like, how many actual returning characters or events or that kind of stuff is going to be? Probably not a lot. You know? And
they said return. Yeah, they said returning characters and new characters. So,
yeah. Do you think it's going to be like the playable characters though, or is it NPCs in the world?
I would be shocked if Astarian's not in it, considering how popular that character is.
That's true. Yeah.
Like at that, if you're choosing to be like, I'm adapting, we're specifically naming Baldur's Gate 3. We're not saying just Baldur's Gate blanket as a story and world. We're specifically saying Baldur's Gate 3. The show will be called Baldur's Gate, but we're naming Baldur's Gate 3 as a show it's adapting and
we're saying it's post that.
Moving on post Baldur's Gate 3. I just think there's no reason to do that if you're not going to pick a character like Astarion to have in your show.
Yeah.
So then everyone has, I've seen some, I couldn't name them. I saw people, I was going through Larian Studios Twitter accounts, different employees and stuff. Some of them had retweeted jokes as far as like people, someone had like tweeted, Adam Sandler's been cast as Astarion in the thing, and one of the employees had like retweeted. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's too early to say. I mean, it's only getting announced. I can't imagine. Craig Mazin is probably still heavily on work at The Last of Us. Yeah, it's going to be several years before we even get started.
And it's a big, big world that's going to cost a lot of money. So
yeah, I mean, even having the different races around, having to have a bunch of tieflings and dwarves and whatever the green one is. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I should go back and finish the game.
Yeah, I was going to say when Kieran was here, we should go back and...
The motherfucker, I was enjoying playing the game and he bailed, right? I'm going to officially put on record. He fucking bailed, not you or us. So now I think I need to go back and start my own save file.
We can go. Yeah. Start again.
Fuck him.
But yeah,
He's just angry I killed the bear. Like, I get...
Hell yeah, I mean, that was unnecessary. I've also seen a lot of people saying the voice actors should definitely come back and play all the characters again.
No. I'm never aboard the you have to get the voice actors to play the role.
You know.
But you got some big shoes
to me is they should just save money and put the game into AI and ask them to just recreate it with human character, with lifelike.
Don't say that. Don't say
because that's what they want. They want the exact same thing, except they look like real people.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I don't know. Some actors, the thing with Neil Newbon is he potentially could play Astarion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to say the whole voice card could play back, but he is someone who I think has enough. I think he's done. He's not just a voice actor, if you know what I mean. Like, so there is potential, but I'm not saying it has to be him. But
yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into casting. Whether it's you need to get a certain amount of named people or people who have experience on actual sets because there's a time crunch to a lot of this, and that kind of stuff. So, and actually, because they are fantasy characters, they need to actually be physically look like the characters, which some of them do not. You know.
The other funny thing I saw at this announcement is HBO going to make it woke. Very funny. I've never finished the game, but I can see that you also have no understanding of it.
I think seeing as you could pretty much fuck anybody with
you can fuck anyone, and also the game deals with a lot of discrimination, basically racial undertones of characters being segregated and all this other stuff. Like, but yeah, no, it's the HBO will make it work. Sure.
Side note, and again, not on the notes. How have you felt about the recent slate of casting news around the God of War series coming to Prime Video?
Fine. I don't think I just didn't bother putting it on it because I don't really have too much to say. I'm just very much like it's funny to me that the guy who voiced Thor is now playing Kratos.
Yeah.
And then you've got Mimir. The head's returning, that actor. Yeah. And then whoever they cast as Odin seemed good.
See, that's the thing that I find interesting is they've already cast Odin, Sif, and Thor.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just going straight to the second game?
I think by the looks of it, yeah.
Also, Odin, Bandy, Patinkin. That's a solid selection if you couldn't get Richard Schiff back.
Yeah. I think I've seen a lot of people complaining about that because it seems they're going straight to Ragnarok. But I'm also like, I get it because the story of the Ragnarok story in the game makes a better TV show than the story in the first one. The first one doesn't have as many. I don't think the first one doesn't have as the big characters. It doesn't have Thor. It doesn't have Odin. It doesn't have all these big name people. It doesn't have you going to fucking whatever the village. It doesn't have. It's nowhere as
going to Asgard. Yeah,
Asgard. It doesn't have as many exciting locations and characters that the second one has. So I get it.
The first one was so good.
The first one is a fantastic story.
Sets up the entire series.
Yeah. Correct. I'm not saying the first one's a bad story. I can see why in a meeting that potentially skipping and going to the second one and discussions potentially around how they could still
just kind of merge the two stories together.
Merge the two in some ways probably happened. Yeah. It's fine.
Don't like it really.
As long as they're not fighting the whole problem is if they adapted the first game, they would have had to fight a big troll that looks exactly the same every 2 hours in a different color, and that would have really annoyed me. So,
if they don't have the stranger fight, I'm going to be upset.
hot fixes here for you. Some quick news stories. Won't go in depth on these, but Zero Latency VR has announced they're bringing a Jumanji VR experience to life later in 2026. So I would love if that was out around October, so we could play it when in Melbourne, but it looks like it'll probably be out more closely to December when the movie's actually out. Chapel Roan is now in Fortnite after she did an interview last year where she said she was playing Fortnite. So get your Pink Pony Club on in Fortnite now. Sega's The House of the Dead movie has the fact that it's even a real thing is sort of funny to me. But it has announced that I'm blanking on her name. What's her name?
Isabel Merced.
Open article. Thank you, Isabel Merced. Didn't want to open an article. Isabel Merced has landed the leading role in that, and then Pokemon Sun and Moon's Ultra Beasts, which were rejected Pokemon designs, are now the characters that are in their new non-Pokemon game. Which I fucking, oh my god, I'm struggling. What the fuck's that game called?
Something Resurrection, right?
Yeah, that thing. Game of the week. Did I accidentally just delete this? What am I doing? What's going on here? I've been playing Dragon Age 7 Reimagined. Yeah, Reimagined. Which I found out is very, very long, and I haven't finished it yet, but I'm enjoying it, and I will get there. I didn't realize how long it was, and then at some point, after all the review embargoes popped up and everyone had the reviews out, I Googled how long the game should be, and all the articles and Google was telling me was Dragon Quest VII. Originally, the original Dragon Quest VII is considered one of the longest RPGs ever. And I'm like, oh my god! And then I'm looking at people. I googled like what the changes are because I've never played the original, so I'm like, all right, well, I'm sort of enjoying this game. What are the changes? But they're like, oh yeah, they remove some dungeons and stuff to help make the game not as long because the first one was considered one of the longest fucking RPGs of all time. So I'm like, okay, that helps explain some things. Anyway, I'm moving through it. So you play as a guy, unnamed character, that's fine, and you are friends with the prince in this world, and pretty much the prince is always running away from the king, even though the king's like, you've got to be king one day, so you got to stop going on to his adventures. And the two of them pretty much hear a rumor of this tale of like, if you're able to collect certain things at this place and go to this tablet, you can unlock a secret. And they go there and that you unlock this like room which has a bunch of circular stations on it, where pretty much a big part of this game is actually finding different little colored parts of things like broken tablets, and when you connect them all in this room, you can then interact with them, and you travel back to the past to another island. And it's this is a very interesting RPG game because it doesn't play like any of the Dragon Quest games I played, or most other RPGs, in that, because when you travel back in time and go to these other islands, you have these little almost self-contained adventures where you get there, each one has its own problem. It's like one of the early ones is monsters invading this village and they destroy a lot of people, and you got to, very sort of almost stereotypical thing of just like help defeat the big monster thing that's controlling them all to stop them destroying the city and stuff. Some of the later ones include you go to this village where they have like almost a religious like thing they always do, where they go to this volcano on a mountain and they drop like fire hats down it, and but you have a premonition that this big monster's gonna blow up the volcano if they do this, if they finish this year's version of that. So you've got to sort of go down there and put a stop to that before it happens, and so on and so forth. But each time you go back in time, you sort of have these self-contained little adventures where you interact with characters and stuff there. And then when you travel back to the present, the island then pops up in the world. So when you start the game, there's only your island, and as far as every character that you talk to is aware, there's nothing else out there but ocean. Like when they go out in boats, people go fishing. The main character you play as, the father, goes out fishing, but there's no other islands. But as you start completing these things, when you go back and you solve or help the people in the past, their island then pops up, and then you can get on a boat and you can travel to that island. And then you can go there and interact with some characters, and you'll be interacting with descendants of the characters that you met with. And so far, there is a sort of overarching story, but not much of one. Like there's talk of a potential big bad involved at the background, but I have found it very interesting to play an RPG where it's not super focused on, big bad here, A to B, with some slight diversions on the way to get there, or save X person, or put a stop to big event, and you're constantly doing these very different self-contained adventures, and you're constantly meeting new characters along the way because every time you travel back to the past to do it. So, the RPG system itself is a class. I don't know if they call it class. They call it something else, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But it's a sort of a class-based one where you start as like your character's a fisherman class, like a very basic. The prince character is a warrior or some shit. But eventually you do unlock the ability to change what classes the characters play as, so you can switch them into, mage, pirate, jester, bunch of other ones, stuff like that, or more stereotypical RPG ones. And when they do that, they sort of obviously they reset their skills that they'd learnt from level 1, but they can learn new skills, and then you can master that class. And if you constantly change up the classes and you're mastering new skills, overall your character or those characters become stronger. I really enjoy the art style. It's completely different to the original one. If you look at screenshots and stuff like that, there was a whole recreation of the art style. It looks very much more in line with, I assume, because the art design comes from, as with old Dragon Quest games.
Toriyama.
Thank you. Yes. So the art style looks more in line with presumably how he would have pitched it or wanted to do it in his head if he could have back when the game originally released. Obviously, most known as the Dragon Ball art and creator. So yeah, it has that style to a lot of the characters and how they move and just generally look, which is nice. Music's good. It's not fully, but a lot of it is voice acted now. The voice acting I quite enjoy, and it's very English or Europe. Actually, I'll say European inspired. Even when you travel back to some of the islands, it's like the island you start on feels very just straight English, like UK inspired, with all the accents and the way it's set out and stuff. But then some of the other islands that I've traveled back to in time so far, it's like full Scottish accents, very French inspired over here. Like it feels like it's got this very European coverage to, it's like each of the islands almost represents a different area of Europe, it seems. The only thing I don't like, and it's sort of a catch-22, I guess, from my understanding, is that because the game was considered so dense and large, and they wanted to make it more appealing to old players and easy to get into, I get that the stuff about cutting out dungeons I have no opinions on because I didn't play the original one. However, they've gone nearly, I think, overboard in how easy they made the overall game. Like I have not struggled an inch really in any of the fights, and 90% of the time I'm just playing the game on. I get into a fight and I just click start and just put on auto battle and just let them all make their own decisions, which is a feature I love and I use in a lot of games. However, it's usually when you're it never feels over. Like it has it in Persona, it had it in Bravely Default. A lot of games have the auto battle thing, but it's usually if you go to a lower level dungeon or after you get to a new area and you feel the challenge, but then once you've beat the story big boss in that particular area or whatever, and then you start wandering around, you start being I could just smash the auto battle now because I'm tough. But then you don't. I just feel like I'm constantly just auto battling. So it's I'm playing the game, but I'm not really playing the game a lot of the time. I usually only take it out of that when I'm in boss fights, when I have to actually. That'll be the only times I really have to make decisions. But that's So I feel like maybe they potentially overcorrected a bit too hard to make it super appealing. But then I'm also the other part of my brain goes, what if they were purposely trying to do that to make it baby's first Dragon Quest game, especially for if I was a kid, because there's a very kid-friendly art style and everything, obviously with the way it looks. So maybe they wanted it to be more, and it's super easy for kids to play. I don't know, but for me, I definitely think it's a bit too easy. They just overcracked it. But I'll have a full review on Explosion Network when I finish it. I mean, to be honest, I feel like I could review it now. I don't know, see how the story plays out. But so far, just there could be a big swing at the end. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what could happen? Two other things that were posted up on the website this week from Jacob that you could check out. He reviewed the I don't know how the fuck you actually say it. Game Light Gun Timeless Time Crisis Ultimate Pack review. So this thing, I had my eye on this when they announced it because I was like, that's cool. And it was funny when he messaged me last year and asked if we could get it for a review. I was like, oh, good luck. Good message, because they're already sending me one, so I'll just send it to you because I've got enough on my I've got enough on my plate as it is. So send it over to him. He gave the overall device oh my god, what's happening here? An 8. The combination of enjoyable gameplay and nostalgic elements make this game a cherished choice for gatherings with friends. So it is literally like its own device, which contains Time Crisis, Point Blank, and 2 other games, Steel Gunner 2 and Steel Gunner 1, in the device, and then you get the gun, the plug-in, and all that sort of stuff. So it brings back your PS1 era light gun memories, which I played a lot of PS1 light gun stuff I had in my house. So used to play a lot of the Time Crisis and especially Point Blank as well. So and it was just something you can't do now. Just never. They tried to do one on PS3 or something. It just never was the same. Never was the same. So
you'd think light gun technology would have come forward by now.
You would have thought, but apparently not. So, overall very solid device. That I think the way it's put together and everything, from my understanding, reading through his and then looking at pictures and stuff in the article, and whatever it looks solid. Just be aware it costs about, I don't know, it's like 400 and what the fuck is it? It's $449 RRP if you're to grab. So just be aware, if you want your light gun fun, light gun fun doesn't come cheap these days, is what they say. Then he reviewed Pie in the Sky, which he gave 9.5 because he's a fucking magpie fiend apparently. Pie in the Sky said, this game is a great addition to any library. It hits for me nostalgia notes with art styling. So this is a game where you just fuck around as a racist fucking magpie. In his review, talks about reminding him of the early Tony Hawk games and stuff like that, because you're just it literally just, you've got a button that says peck, you got one that says sweep, you got one that says stop, and another one that says squawk, and you get points for fucking shit up, I think, as far as my understanding is. So if you're a magpie fan, what
did Zach Jackson give it?
Zach Jackson. Why hasn't Zach Jackson reviewed this game? What is going on? Check well played. If he hasn't, if there is a review for Pie in the Sky up, what are they doing over there? There isn't one. I can't see one. Hey, well played. Hey, Zach Jackson.
What the
Get
fuck?
your shit together. What the fuck are you doing? There's a goddamn magpie game out. And you're just over there twiddling your thumbs, fucking around. Get your shit together. All right. Anyway, read both of Jacob's views on explosionnetwork.com, which, actually likes magpies more, apparently, than the guy that's feeding him in his backyard. Yep. All right, that's it for this week's episode. Let us know any comments, questions, concerns about anything we discussed this week on the show, or send us something to discuss next week on the show by heading to explosionnetwork.com/follow. We can find all of our social links. And if you like the show and like to support the podcast and Explosion Network, head on over to explosionnetwork.com/support. We will see you here next week. Same time, same couch.